Hello, welcome or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz and I will be guiding you on this journey today. I keep feeling called to make a little intro. I don't know, like it kind of almost feels like setting expectations. I'm not even, honestly, it keeps like cycling through my brain though to do it. And I feel like that alone is reason enough, to listen to it. So I'm not going to take any cards. I'm just going to shuffle and I'm just going to blab for a second. I'm not going to take any cards that come out though, because this is going to be the intro for all 24 readings that I do, because I cannot repeat myself that many times. Like I will legitimately implode. So, tarot for me has always been a way of organizing my thoughts and feelings. When I first got into tarot myself, like some big life things happened. And I needed to organize my thoughts. I needed to organize my feelings, and which is very Virgo moon of me with my Cancer rising, right? It's like, that the over analyzing, write everything down. And literally that's what I did. I had a whole notebook, and I had a page dedicated to every single tarot card. And I went through every tarot deck I had at the time and I wrote down the keywords. I was watching tarot videos on YouTube myself. And anytime somebody would say something about a specific card that resonated with me or was like, ooh, that's actually a really cool perspective or way of like understanding that card or combination of cards. And I would write it down in my little notebook. And then I kind of expanded from there and started giving friends and family tarot readings. But anyway, all of that is to say, right? Like I'm not psychic. I'm not claiming to be psychic. I do know these cards and I trust the cards that come out. I trust the order that they do. I trust the message that is being given to me. So funny. There's the Queen of Swords. And also, that's why I explain each card, because it's definitely part of my own processing, but also giving you information on the cards so that you can use your own discernment. You can check in with your own intuition, because we all have it. And maybe I'm not saying what is coming through for you about a specific card, but that is very much a message for you to honor. So definitely pay attention to that, right? Like definitely pay attention to any type of whispers, feelings, just things that are dropping into your consciousness as you are watching these readings, because no doubt that is a message for you. I'm more than likely not predicting necessarily anything for you. I am probably confirming what you already know to be true in your situation. But also that is very important, right? Because, if you have confirmation that, again, right, like your thoughts, your feelings, the experience, the circumstance that you're going through right now is actually what is going on, then it almost like frees up the energy. It frees up some mind space, some consciousness, almost even like opens your receptors to what's next. Like, okay, that is true. I don't have to necessarily focus on that so much anymore and kind of, spin my wheels on that. But yeah, so again, right? I mean, I may not be predicting anything for you. It's interesting because like, I don't necessarily think that's like my purpose right now, but at the same time, like I do feel like that's changing a little bit for me. And I'm keeping my receptors open, right? Like I'm welcoming the energy, however it is going to change, if it does. who knows? So yeah, like I said, I'm here to confirm things. I mean, who knows? Possibly predict shit. But where I thought there was, okay. Like I thought there I saw a card that was turned over. And ultimately allow energy to flow. So anyway, I think that is all that I want to say. For the time being, I can't tell you. I have no clue if I'm going to repeat something similar in the next series of videos. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, it's interesting. We'll see what happens. We go where the energy takes us as long as it feels good. And it did. So we did it. And with that, we're going to get into the readings. Also, before we both forget, hit that subscribe button. Just go ahead and do it. Hit the like button. Leave a comment would be cool too. But yeah, okay. With that being said, let's get into the readings. Great. So this is a reading for my projector baddies. I usually do human design profile tarot readings, but I'm just like, I'm kind of against a time crunch or whatever, and I'm not going to be able to do readings for the next like 2 weeks or so. And I was just like stressing myself out over trying to get 12 readings done in like the matter of just a couple days. That's the Three of Wands reversed. So anyway, the other day, as I was like just kind of worrying, a thought occurred to me to do the readings by type instead of profile this time around. And maybe, I mean, who knows? Like maybe this is the start of something. I mean, I don't know. But anyway, it was more like feasible to get 4 readings done in the amount of time that I had versus 12. So anyway, we have, like I said, the Three of Wands reversed. I kind of want to go this way. We have the Knight of Pentacles, the World, Six of Swords, Temperance, Seven of Cups, Hierophant. It's so interesting how I put these cards down. Like, honestly, I wasn't even thinking about it, really. I was thinking more so just about space, like space-wise. But I actually kind of feel like it makes sense going up. Okay, I want to start with the Hierophant. Well, we'll start with the Three of Wands. Of course, that was the first card that came out, and it like kind of, the way that it fell on the table, which I think was out of frame, it swirled itself into the reverse position. So it feels either like a lack of action or just not, honestly, maybe not even having the energy, maybe not even knowing where it is that you want to start. Because the reason why I'm saying that is the Three of Wands is when you start taking action towards something. The Ace of Wands is like, the energy shows up, the inspiration, the, you find something that you are passionate about. There's something that you want to try. The Two of Wands is kind of making plans for that, right? Like it's not necessarily strategizing, but like a little bit, right? Like what are the possibilities? What different avenues can I go about approaching this thing? How do I even want to go about it? Right? And to making those decisions of like, where do I even want to start? And then the Three of Wands is when you start taking action, or the energy does show up. Because sometimes, like there's the Three of Wands is depicted as like a ship coming in. And, it's like when the information finally presents itself to you, or, the right time that you've been waiting for. You know, like something happens to where you're like, now it's time. Now it's time to move. Now it's time to go. But with it being in the reverse, right? Like, are you not taking action? Like, are you not ready? Do you feel like you don't have enough information? Do you not know which way you want to go? The book, like, talks about not giving up. Don't give up now. You know, what you've been working towards is about to pay off. It's like, have you ever heard that saying, or it like literally flooded through my head so fast that now I'm like kind of struggling to catch it. But it's like quitting before the miracle happens, or, you know, quitting before that aha moment, or, you know, just before the thing takes off, because whatever, you know, frustration, running out of, you know, again, energy, just, you know, attaching expectation to things. And then over here, all these cards over here, like I said, I do want to start with the Hierophant. That is Taurus. And what is so interesting to me is that they're sitting there meditating. Right? Like, also, it's not a very active card, at least like in this illustration, right? And the Hierophant talks about traditional institutions, but it's like passing along information. So I was saying over here, right, about maybe not having all of the information, maybe not, you know, feeling prepared, maybe not, again, you know, having the energy, the desire, you know, it just hasn't showed up yet. But at the same time, like, there's that other part of you that's like kind of ready to go. So this to me feels like there is information coming in, will be available, will be given to you. You could be any of the people on this card too. I mean, maybe you are, which I also kind of even feel like this could be a very projector-y type of card, guiding people, sharing, you know, what you know. I feel like projectors can see the big picture in a way that other people cannot, right? Like, this yoga instructor would be guiding these people through a practice. And also it would be a practice that you developed, right? I mean, of course there would be training behind that. Of course you would have needed to have training of some capacity, right? Maybe even being in a leadership role, creating a course, but also even just the meditation aspect of it. First of all, very grounding, right? I mean, you're putting your root as close to the ground as possible, right? The whole purpose of meditation is, for one, rest, for two, you know, so to get quiet enough to hear yourself, to hear your own guidance, bring yourself back to literally the present, right? Like, separate yourself from the hamster wheel that our mind can sometimes be. Or again, right? I mean, you could be one of these people who are being guided hereby. So you could be deciding to go back to school. You could be, you know, getting a position to where you're going to require some type of training. You could be getting into some kind of research, because truly, like over here, right, if you feel like you're not prepared because you don't have enough information, like whatever it is, this would be getting yourself prepared, finding the resources, doing your own research, right? Like talking to people who have the expertise already, signing up for training in some capacity, watching YouTube videos. You know, I mean, there's usually a YouTube video on almost anything that you would want to learn, at least as like a free way, at least in the beginning, you know, to just kind of get your feet wet, like, you know, figure out if you have an interest in continuing, maybe even finding additional resources to further your education. And then it's interesting because with the Temperance card and the Seven of Cups, like these cards feel like they have the same ish energy. Temperance is like, and even too, the yoga thing. Not that you have to do yoga, right? If you do yoga, or if you have in the past, it may not be a bad idea to almost like set intentions with your practice. And if it's been a while since you've set any intentions with your practice, then do that. Maybe even try yoga if you haven't. I don't know, but honestly, I think it's interesting that two of these cards here have a yoga. I mean, they're holding tree pose here, which is also very grounding. Maybe even doing tree pose. You don't have to put your foot all the way up here. If you can't, do not put it on your knee. Don't put it on your knee because your knee doesn't bend like sideways. So you could cause injury. But put it on your calf muscle here. Your foot, right? Or put the heel of your foot on your ankle and the ball of your foot on the floor if you have a balance issue, right? Hands at heart center. Again, I mean, for 30 seconds and just kind of feel the energy flowing through you. Get grounded again. But Temperance, this is Sagittarius. Taurus, Sagittarius. The World card, I believe, is fixed, are the fixed signs, which I believe are Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio. This is about balance, literally, right? But patience, moderation. It's alchemy too. The blending together of energies, the blending together of even your life, right? Like the different aspects of your life, the different interests that you have. There's these cupcakes, there's a martini glass, laptop, carrots, water, a book, right? I mean, all of these different aspects of our lives, but also, and engaging in those things, giving attention to each aspect of those things within ourselves. Also, like going through the motions. Like when I see Temperance, I always think of chocolate because that might be my Taurus sun. But, right, like the process to temper chocolate correctly, like you have to go through certain steps for certain periods of time until there's a certain consistency, blah, 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 right? I'm certainly no expert at that, but like you do need to follow each step. And if you skip a step, if you try to rush through a step, right, like you could ruin the chocolate and literally would have to start all over again. So that's like where that patience aspect comes in. The Seven of Cups is cups having to do with our emotions. But it is, it's looking at all these different areas of your life. And like I was even pointing out all this stuff on the table behind them. Right? Like there are all these different aspects here. And it's like figuring out what you want to prioritize. Also, even the Marie Kondo effect with, what feels good, what stays, right? And too, like even basing your priorities on what it is that feels good. Not that is a logical decision, but truly in your body, with your intuition, what feels good. And you do that until you're like, you know what, this is actually not feeling as great anymore. What's next? What is the next thing that I am excited about, that I want to put energy and action into? The Seven of Cups can also be a little daydreamy, a little confusing, a little overwhelming too. I mean, this lady is standing here like, like, which one do I choose? And this lady's like, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a minute. It's going to be a minute. This could even be too, like organizing the different aspects of your life, of responsibility, of whatever, right? And truly, like, if a way that you have been doing things is just no longer working for you, and you would know that because it doesn't excite you. It doesn't feel good. It feels like obligation, or it feels like you're walking through mud, or, whatever. Quicksand was even like coming to mind. But, it's like, oh God, I just, I don't feel like doing that. I feel like doing this, but in my mind, usually, because that's where, we start trying to convince ourselves otherwise. In my mind, I think I should be giving my attention, my action, my energy to this thing. But what I feel I would like to do is the other thing. Go with the other thing and just see what happens, dude. Not saying to completely abandon the other thing or any, of course, responsibilities or anything like that, but give some attention to the things that do feel good and see what happens, because this is what's going to happen. I actually feel like this because I was going to start going this way. See, feeling, right? Like I also, it is a practice, which is actually really interesting because, they call yoga a practice because there is no perfection in the realm of yoga. You show up to practice. You practice your discipline. You practice your, God, now, of course, I'm like forgetting the word, the sequence of, yoga poses. I can't think of what that word is. Right? But you practice being present. You practice sinking down into your body. You practice pushing yourself just a little bit more or not, right? You learn to listen to your body. So that's actually really fucking cool how that came through, and I've already forgotten how that even happened. Anyway, so yeah, practice honoring the thing that feels good. Give it as much time, attention, energy as you have available. Right? You don't have to go all out. You don't have to, whatever, baby steps. But look what happens over here. All of this is movement forward. What is lacking in this 3 of Wands in the reverse? We have the 6 of Swords. Swords having to do with our mind. Right now your mind is thinking forward. This card talks about getting out of, like I said, with that, the hamster wheel, right? Because usually, like traditionally on the 6 of Swords, they're on this boat, they're leaving choppy waters and they're heading towards peaceful waters. And it's a mindset, right? But also even the water element, feelings, emotions. They're also going to like start making decisions on what it is that no longer either requires your attention or you want to give any attention to. There are things that you are going to leave behind. It could even be making that decision mentally. Like again, I no longer, that thing just isn't for me anymore. You could be moving. You don't have to be, but you could be. It doesn't, and it could be any type of movement. Of course, it could be your home. It could be your job, right? It could be a relationship, friend group, a way of thinking also, like a way of perceiving things. They're not even carrying a ton of baggage with them. They have one bag. It feels almost kind of like a clean slate. The World card. Ending. Also, things coming full circle. Like the literal conclusion of something. Also there, oh my gosh, I was just like choking. on my own spit for like, it felt like forever. Holy crap. When I started talking about the world card, that's interesting. Like, it's interesting because, okay, let me see if I can get through these last two cards. Oh my gosh. Literally, I had to go like grab a water. I still feel like there's actually something in my throat. So it's not my own spit that I was choking on. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, so we have this, this completion here with the world card, and it does feel celebratory. Happy to be done with something. Also, even happy to be recognizing that, it's like the relief that comes when you accept something, whatever that is. Like, you accept, areas of your life that have been holding you back, and you release those things. You do have this shift in a mindset, and truly what even a relief that is when it finally comes, because, right, like we can just get stuck in, I keep saying, the hamster wheel that is our brain, right? So even just finally having an aha moment, or even to like literally moving your body, transmuting energy, even to, like I was saying about like being intentional or resetting your intentions. But also, not only is something ending finally, but something new is beginning too. We have this Knight of Pentacles that's setting out on their own adventure. There's a dedication aspect with the Knight of Pentacles, commitment. Also, the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight. It is also very deliberate, very intentional too. Practical, right? Like making practical decisions. This could have something to do with your job, with your health, with your energy level. Because I know, like, I was kind of talking about that a lot throughout the reading too. Like, where are you spending your energy? Where are you physically showing up in your life? I mean, they're ready to go, right? They still have a foot on the floor, but there is intention here. And also, even going through the steps. Anytime the Knight of Pentacles shows up, I always give this little spiel about not attaching success to the pace of something. Like, if you're doing something, if you're putting yourself out there, if you are trying to, materialize an idea or, a creation, whatever it is, and if you're not getting the recognition, right, with, of course, being a projector, the recognition, the invitation, like if that's not coming in a pace that you expect, do not see that as being a failure, right? Like at the beginning of this reading, I literally said something along the lines of like, don't quit before the miracle happens, or don't quit before the aha moment, or don't quit, right? It may be slow moving, but also you learn so much through the process. Make little tweaks here and there. Really just focus too, even on, if it still feels good, continue to do it. Not from the mind, though, right? We don't really make decisions from the mind in human design anyway. In your body. I'm sorry I started like falling apart at the end of this reading. I'm not quite done, but sorry. Like all of a sudden I'm like all congested now. Like what is going on with like between my throat and my nose? Yeah, don't give up. Keep checking in with yourself. Does this still feel good to me? Keep doing it. Keep putting it out there. Keep, reinvesting your attention into it. Keep learning the things that no doubt You'll learn lessons along the way, have conversations with people. Again, like do your research online. Like, don't expect it to just overnight take off. And again, that does not mean that it is a failure. It is not. Okay, I'm going to leave it there because I need to go blow my nose and cough some more. Sorry. Thank you for letting me read your cards. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.